are a plethora of options available today for GPS sports watches across a broad range of pricing, from as low as $100 up to more than $1,000. But for the past month, I've been wearing a watch that when you first look at it, you wouldn't even think it's a GPS sports watch. And it's from a longtime brand, Casio. It provides much more than just a watch, so let's take a closer look. Hello everyone, this is Matthew Miller, otherwise known as Palm Solo, and for the past month or so I've been wearing a new watch from Casio, the G-SHOCK Move GBD-H2000. Yes, that's quite a mouthful, but it's the latest in their series of Move watches, and last series was the GBD-H1000, but this one offers more than that. So that's the box for the watch, and here's the watch itself. It comes in a couple of different color variants. This one that I'm testing is black with some orange highlights around it, and you'll see it closer in some of the pictures that I have. For a long time, I've checked out watches from Garmin, Coros, Apple, Suunto, and that's the kind of maze fit. And those are kind of the brands that I tend to wear for my GPS tracking in various conditions. What I've been finding lately is the main purpose of all of my watches is primarily to tell the time. And that's pretty simple to have with any watch. But I also use a watch for tracking my runs, bike rides, and other outdoor activities, trail runs, hikes, things like that. Now, I could just keep a watch and just wear it for those events and then just have a regular watch, but it's kind of nice that this new G-SHOCK kind of mixes all of that in one. So compared to the GBD H1000, this one is 38% lighter at only 63 grams. It's a very lightweight watch, right? The bezel and the band are made from biomass plastic materials, and then the back is a carbon reinforced fiber. So it's a very durable, strong material on the back. And it's really, as a G-SHOCK, it's a watch first, right? It has stopwatch capability of 1/100th of a second. It has 1 second increment timers on it. It has a build quality that is built to last through everything, right? 200-meter water resistance, like I'm never going to dive that far, and shock resistance, right? When you look at this watch, you can tell right off looking at it, it's a G-SHOCK watch, and it does a very good job of telling the time. Now, some people that have G-SHOCK watches may say, well, what's the battery life on it? I personally have the GPS set to the highest level of accuracy, so the most frequent. I have some other settings set pretty high. What I find in doing 2-3 runs a week, I'm getting about a week of battery life out of it, which is pretty good, right? And there's also, in addition to charging via USB and a proprietary charger, it does have solar assisted charging, primarily for time, for the clock part of the watch. So it's not going to provide a lot of charging, but if you're just primarily using it as a watch, that solar charging will help out quite a bit. So as I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a G-SHOCK that's a running sports watch now. It has a GPS receiver inside. It has an HR monitor, which also can track blood oxygen levels, a step counter. So all of your basic health and fitness type of information is found in the capability of this watch. Now, a bunch of the power of this G-SHOCK comes in the smartphone application that it's connected to, right? And the smartphone application is called the Casio Watches app. And it's much more powerful than I ever thought it would be. It has the ability to connect to the watch via Bluetooth. And in there you can manage the 8 different activities, which include running, trail running, walking, pool swimming, open water swimming, biking, gym workouts, and interval timers. Now, what we've seen before in some manufacturers, particularly Garmin, is the ability to customize and Coros, sorry about that, is the ability to customize every screen that appears on your watch. And it's amazing. Even on this G-SHOCK, you can do that through this Casio Watches app. You can go in there and customize what kind of data and how much you're going to see on each display as you do your workout. What we also see is the app has a ton of settings in there for your watch faces, your widgets, your heart rate tracking, and things like that. There's just a host of those features in there that we'll show in the screenshots. One other aspect of this watch that kind of makes it a bit better for most people is on the back end side. It has Casio has partnered with Polar to provide a bunch of the Polar database features from data captured on the watch. So with Polar, we see heart rate analysis, sleep tracking with VO2 max, cardio load. Even the sleep details on nightly recharge are provided on the watch through this application. So you're getting some Polar in there to go along with the GPS tracking and everything else. It's a pretty powerful combination, and this watch is currently available for $399 in those two colors that I mentioned. The one thing to balance out, right? If you love G-SHOCK watches, but you want a little bit more health fitness tracking, you want an integrated GPS watch, you're a casual runner, right? You like some details on your watch when you're running, but you don't need every single detail. You can get that with this G-SHOCK watch. Me personally, I can't really commit to using this watch all the time because I like to then take my GPS sports tracking data and export it to Strava or other applications, and then I use like Garmin, for example. I can import all of my GPS files into the Garmin app, and then from the Garmin I can run different reports, see the trends, see if I'm getting better, set up workouts for training and things like that. One thing about the Casio Watches app, even though it is very powerful, all of the data collected by the watch lives in the Casio Watches app. There's no exporting of the data, there's no sharing with other clients. And I don't know if that's going to come in a future software update. Seems to me that syncing with Strava and maybe Apple Health Kit or Google Fit could be a fairly easy back-end upgrade on the Casio Watches app. But at this time, once you capture all that data on the watch, it lives in the Casio Watches app. For many people, that might be perfectly acceptable, right? The Casio Watches app and the life log, it shows the details of your track. It shows you a bunch of stats on your workouts and things like that, and that might be perfectly adequate for you. It is also a GPS sports watch, right? It locks in on the GPS fairly quickly. I've seen some reviews saying that it takes minutes or more, but I just did another test run yesterday, and it took about 25 seconds, 35 seconds or so to get the GPS fix. My other watches are almost instantaneously nowadays. This one was a little bit slower, but nothing that concerns me too much. It's great to have those customizable displays. It does have 8 activities that are supported. And there is Coros and Garmin competitors that actually are a little bit less expensive than the $399 of this watch, and that might fit those that are focused on training and fitness a little bit better. This appeals to the G-SHOCK fan. If you like Casio G-SHOCK watches, you should like the G-SHOCK Move GBD-H2000 if you want that advanced fitness and sleep tracking capability in the watch. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you later.